guys, I'm Anthony Gardner with Anthem 3D Printing. Today, we're talking about the Anycubic Photon. Now this is a DLP printer from Anycubic. Now, this type of technology uses UV to cure layer upon layer of resin until it creates some of the most beautiful and spectacularly designed 3D prints you'll ever see off a printer that you can have in your home. Now, this type of technology does come with its own unique set of failed prints and different ways to handle it. Now, after several attempts, I've finally figured out how to do this without completely destroying your FEP film. Now, before we get started, I do want to go over some terminology, just so you don't get lost. This is the print bed of the Anycubic Photon. What this part does is it lowers itself down into this, which is called your vat. Now, this vat, when ready, will be filled with resin. Now, this resin will be separated from the LCD screen through what's called the FEP film. And that's this banjo-type piece of plastic on the bottom. Now, with a failed print, your print bed is too far from your surface. And when that happens, the resin is going to cure to the FEP film instead of to the print bed like you want. Now, when this happens, the cleanup process can be messy, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can damage the FEP film pretty badly, which will make further prints even less likely to succeed. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to teach y'all how to remove a failed print from this FEP film so that I can save you some time and money down the road. So let's get started.
So the first thing, guys, is gloves, gloves, gloves. Uncured resin can be toxic to your skin, so you make sure you get those off. Unscrew those two screws that release the vat first. You want to make sure the vat can slide out easily, as you can see it happening right there. Next, you want to prepare your bottle that you're going to pour your resin into that started off the failed print. As you see the orange piece there, that's just a funnel that I 3D printed on the FDM printer back behind that you can see. And what that does is it just really helps hold the funnel that Anycubic provides and just holds it perfectly and allows this pouring process to be way easier. It's going to take it a little bit of time to pour. Just be patient with it. You don't have to get every single bit out of it. However, if that's your thing, if you want to just make sure you can save everything you got, absolutely, I have no problem at all with that. It's always good to make sure you have more than you need. See, I'm getting a good bit out of it there. But as you can see, there's still a good bit on the actual FEP, as you can see. Just kind of lay that in a safe spot. Now I'm going to lay this resin bottle in a very precarious area. My workspace for this is not very big. I completely agree. You can see I lay it on top of that just flimsy Tupperware. Oh shoot, just patience. So I kind of wipe the funnel off because I don't want to get this resin stuff all over my stuff in my house. So I'll put that in another aluminum tin like you can see there. I really recommend those aluminum tins. They're disposable. They're hold. If anything crazy spills, it'll hold it. So you can see me just cleaning the bottom of the bottle there, just to make sure when I put it on my shelf, it's not going to mess everything up. Okay, so now we got everything out, and you can see there's the failed print. You see that small circle there. And like I said, what that is the resin just didn't fully stick to the actual build plate, but it stuck to the FEP film. So we got to get that off of there. However, it's pretty stuck on there. It's cured with UV light to the FEP film. So you can see I just kind of start wiping away the excess resin that's there. It takes a little bit of time, but make sure you get all that stuff. It'll just make cleanup later on way easier. So I'm going in all the little cracks and crevices. You can see this is another one of those aluminum tins. This is just another one that I have laying around that I save for stuff like this. As you can see, I'm wiping right past that resin print, and it is not coming off. Now, if I were to go at that with, say, some sort of pry or something that I think I could get up under there, it's just going to make a mess, and it's just going to destroy your FEP, and then you're going to have to replace it. I'm going to have a whole nother video. That's 91% isopropyl alcohol. I've found that's the best. If you can find stronger, absolutely. But for me, that works. I've heard a lot of people also use methylated spirits. They said that works for them. So I'm going to start kind of rubbing the area. I'm pressing underneath with my left hand, and I'm rubbing the actual print with my right hand. I'm also kind of cleaning here and there. But you see, just kind of slightly scrub on it. And you can see I'm also, like I said, left hand underneath, just kind of putting a little bit of pressure. Just washing around. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a Tupperware tub that I use for cleaning off my prints, for putting them in an alcohol bath. I just don't like to really waste the alcohol. I know it doesn't cost much, but so I just kind of dump all that in there. So once you get that all poured in there, I'm going to seal that before I accidentally hurl it across my kitchen and make a nice mess. Oh god, that'd be a nightmare. Anyway, so I move this over, and you see I start tapping on the bottom side of the FEP film. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because I'm trying to knock that print loose. The alcohol, what its job is just to weaken the bond between the FEP film and the resin print. You can see I'm thumping on it pretty hard. I'm just kind of trying to break it loose. And with some prints, this one's kind of got some holes in it because it was trying to be like a hexagonal sphere. But if you, that doesn't make sense, does it? Hexagonal sphere. Anyway, so the reason I'm doing that is if you have one that's more solid, you can actually see it start to kind of peel up. So right there, just kind of push and scrape at it, and boop, it pops right off. And if you got to push it up from the bottom just to get a little leverage on it. So there it is. That's what was holding up my printer. But now I'm ready to get back into it and rock and roll. So I'm going to pour some more isopropyl alcohol onto the FEP film. So now, main part of the problem is gone. We have the thing removed. However, now we're pretty much having to start from square one because of all the work we've had to do. I'm going to have to go back and re-level the print bed and everything. But if you don't want to have to scrape another failed print off of the thing, I recommend doing that. So now I'm being a little more thorough. I'm actually cleaning, the walls of the vat more. I actually end up going into and cleaning the outside of the vat. I'm actually getting it ready for the printing process now. Before, it was just getting it to where it's good enough to where I could start working on getting the resin off. But now I'm actually trying to, get it ready for the printing process again. You really want to clean the underside, especially after doing stuff like this. You want to make sure the underside of that's clean. Now, you want to be kind of careful with using paper towels. A lot of guys don't even use paper towels. They swear against them because they can leave tiny cloth fibers all over your FEP, or they can scratch it up microscopically. As long as you're careful, just don't go ham on it, scraping at it. It's not a piece of sandpaper. It's a paper towel. Use it as such. It's just there to dry, just to get everything clean. You really want to make sure you're getting all those little nooks and crannies, especially there in the corner. And like I said, bottom again, make sure that bottom is clean. After a few prints, you're never going to have a perfectly clean FEP film. It's going to be a little hazy. There's going to be some scrapes and scratches, but as long as it's nothing major. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I haven't seen anybody else do in the 3D printing world. I just kind of thought of it one day. Microfiber cloth, like you'd use for your glasses. Grab one of those and just wipe that thing down. It gets smudges away. It gets, it just cleans it up. It's a good final polishing. It's a good way to make sure it gets that nice final clean before it's ready for the printer. I also do that to my LCD screen. I don't think I do it in the video, but typically I'll also get a separate microfiber cloth because you don't want to get resin on your LCD screen by accident. You can see I just threw that one back in the resin. So make sure you clean that LCD screen as well. You want to make sure it's spotless. So now we're going to put it back in there just like you took it out. Just slide it back in, tighten them screws up, and you'll be ready for another print. I hope this helped you guys. I hope this helped y'all get your resin fix, and hopefully it saves you a couple bucks. Happy printing.